Hello everyone, this is Kristen and I'm excited to show you guys step 1 in registering for Follow 2019. As a reminder, this is a two-step process. The first is registering your students, your group, your student leaders, and everyone you're bringing to Follow. The second part is going to be reserving hotel rooms for you all to stay in. So this is the video for step 1 using Cvent to register for the event. And I'm excited to show you guys how to do it. It's going to be great. One helpful note that might be good to mention is we provided a resource called the Rooming Assignment Helper. And if you have that handy and have that filled out, this will help you with the process of registration and assigning hotel rooms. So just take a note of that. All right, so this is the home page. When you click that button, whether that is via an email or on the website to register for Follow, this is where it's going to take you. So here's the event information. You can add it to your calendar. And if you've already gone through the process, you can log back in and modify and make any changes that you need to with this button. But I'm going to start fresh, so I'm going to click register. And this page is going to show up, and it's called Invitee Information. This is the contact information for that primary registrant that is going to be registering themselves and the group of people. So normally this would be the youth pastor, youth leader that is registering themselves and the group. I'm going to put my own name. Email address is very important, so make sure you use an email that you use and check frequently. I'm going to click Next. So this page is going to pop up. If you've already started a registration with an email, it's going to pull up this information and you can continue registering using the saved information that you already had put in. I'm going to click No, and I want to start a new registration from scratch just to show you all the beginning to end process of all of it. Let's click Next. All right, cool. So this next page is still the primary registrant's information. So I'm going to fill out my phone number and church address. So whoever that primary registrant is, whatever church you're from, this is where you're going to fill that information in. So you'll fill in country, 1234 State Street. I'm just filling in random information for my church address. I'm going to do Noblesville, Indiana, not Idaho. Shout out to Idaho. And church name, let's just say it's called Grace City in Noblesville, Indiana. So all that information is required for the primary registrant. And I'm a female. This last section right here is just some additional information that we need. We want to know what district you're coming with. So this is just a list of them. If you are non-Wesleyan, you have that option right here. I'm going to click Crossroads because that's where I'm from. And then right here is just a statement that we need you to mark check yes next to. That says, I agree that my local church is solely responsible to implement appropriate screening, background checks, and supervision procedures to protect children, youth, and vulnerable adults while attending the fall conference. Yes. And this last question is just a really random fun one we wanted to add in there. To confirm you're not a robot, what's your favorite Christmas song? Mine's a Christmas song by Nat King Cole. It's the best. So save and next is what you'll want to do. All right. So at this point in my registration, it would be helpful to look off of my rooming assignment helper. So this is what I filled out. In room 1, I have 4 people, so they all will be choosing the quad rate. In room 2, I have 2 with a double rate, and then room 3, I have 1 person. That will be the single rate. So I am in a quad, so I'm going to choose quad. And I'll click Next. And then also you'll see that I had just numbered all the rooms that I'm going to need on that form, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many rooms you're going to need. But I was in room number 1, so I'll put a 1 in this blank. All right, so the primary registrant is registered. Now you will begin to add any additional attendees that will be joining you at Follow 2019. So that is students, additional adult leaders, whoever else you are bringing with you. They will be called guests. So I'm going to add my next guest who will also be rooming with me. Her name is Stefana Bledsoe. She's a female. And this section right here, if you do have everyone's individual addresses, that's great. But if you do want to save time and just copy from the primary registrant, that will load in like so, and you won't have to fill in any of that information. It's also not required just for your information, so you're not stressing to get all of that last minute. Another spot to add in, if you have each guest's personal email, you can add that in here. We're not requiring it. And if you want to put their roommates, so I'm just putting in names to keep myself more organized. This is reflected off of who's going to be staying in my room with me from the roommate assignment helper. And she is a student. Because she's a student, high school grad year will populate, so we can enter in 2023. And emergency contact name and phone number is required for each guest. That is important to know. So let's click Save and Next. And so Stefana is in a quad room as well with me. So she's a quad rate. And she's in room number 1 with me as well. So you'll see that she appears under guest information. Now, you won't see the primary registrant under this list because this is just the guests that are registered. So let's add another one. Her name is Josmar Trent. She's a female. And I'm going to copy the address again. So that loads in. Spot to put their personal email, their roommates, and she is a student. She'll be graduating in 2022. So emergency contact and the phone is required. Save and Next. She is in my room as well as a quad. And she is in room number 1. Great. So now let's go back to this sheet. You'll see that I have 3 of those people registered. I just need the 1 more to fill that quad room. So let's add another guest. There we go. Her name is Rhonda Moore, and she is a female. She is a student. Emergency contact and phone. And let's go further on into the process. And you'll see again, Rhonda is in a quad room. And she's the last person to complete room number 1. Awesome. So there we go. Like I said before, you won't see the primary registrant on this page, just the 3 guests additional to that room. So we have that quad room complete. If you look on this sheet, all 3 of those people have been registered and are in. As a reminder, each registration fee, so if it's a quad registration, that's per person, not for the entire room. All right, so looking off of this, you'll see that I have Zach Coffin and Ed Love in a double room together. So let's add them in now. We're just going to keep adding guests. So you'll go through the same process to continue adding in your guests. He's a male. And I don't have his personal address handy right now, so I'm just going to copy it over. Ed Love. and he is a student. He's going to graduate in 2025. And like I said before, contact and phone, emergency contact and emergency phone is necessary for each guest. He's in a double, and him and Ed are in room number 2. Great. All right, so let's add Ed into the mix. He is a male. He is a student graduating in 2024. These are all fake numbers, by the way. And save and next. So then we're going to also click double because he is in the same room as Zach. So 2 people to a room, which means they each pay for a double rate. They are in room number 2, and that completes the double room registration. So now, to complete adding our guests, I want to add just one more person in so you can see how adding in an adult leader would go. And this person's going to just have a single room to themselves. That's going to be Anita Easlack. She's a female. I'll copy the address from the primary registrant, which is going to be the church address. No roommate. She is single on her own, and she's going to be an adult leader, which means that won't require the grad year because we're assuming they're out of high school, but it will require an emergency contact name and phone number. So she is in a single room by herself, so we'll click single. And she is in our 3rd room that we have listed. Perfect. So now, if you look back to the sheet again, you'll see that all of our people are added in. We can click next now. Once all of your guests, so that includes students and adult leaders, are added in, let's click next. And this is just a registration summary for the primary registrant. You'll see up here me as the primary registrant, and then all of my guests underneath me. You'll see the information I filled out, the room and number assignment that I put for myself. So let's click next. And here you will see the order totals of everyone's payment for each individual person. You'll see the final total right here. And then right here is when you will pay. As a reminder, we are requiring a 40% deposit at the time of registration. If you want to pay the whole total now, you're more than welcome to. December 16th is when the balance of your registration total will be due. So you're more than welcome to put a 40% deposit down. So I just want to take you through the payment methods. Credit card, you can pay by credit card. It gives you the deposit amount, which is right here. So you'll just enter that number in here and then enter in your card number, the type, expiration date, the billing address for the card here, which is important note to know. You can pay by check. We prefer credit card, but if you do need to make a check, you can read this note. It has the address to make the check payable to, and you're able to do the deposit as well. I'm going to click, because it's the test, I'm going to click test payment. And I can't do a deposit because it's just a test. So it's going to make me pay for the total. So I click test payment, and I'm going to click finish now to show you what's going to pop up at the end on my screen. So now this is what your screen will look like at the very end of the process. And so it's just going to give you a summary of everything, of how much you paid, of who you registered, and more details up here just to give you further information, like your confirmation number. So if you need to modify your registration, that is a confirmation number that you will need. To take you to my email, so this is the email that it gave me as soon as I registered. So this is the confirmation email that you will receive as soon as your your registration is processed. Now, a very important note that will lead into our next video of how to book housing is within this button, and this is a necessary process in the 2 steps. So as soon as you're done with this whole thing, you're going to jump to passkey. So I'm going to just click this and take you to passkey. This is where we're going to stop for now. We will post video 2 on passkey. So